So let's take this, let's try to understand the concept of slope. So let's say that you are at the base of a mountain. Oops. This is the mountain, and that's the base of the mountain. Okay? So we have this mountain, and this is the base of the mountain. Base, mountain, right? And that's the summit of the mountain. That's the summit, that's the top of the mountain. You want to reach the summit of the mountain. You have two different paths. One is this one, what's happening with this border, and the other one is this one. What is the difference between path A and path B? Path A और path B को बीच में फर्क क्या था? Which one would you choose?
Path B.
Path B. Somebody would choose path B, somebody would choose path A. You are at the base, right? You could be somewhere here. You have equal possibility of choosing one of these two paths. What is the difference between these two paths? Path A and path B. Let's have a talk about path A. A and B. What do we notice here?
Path B को distance अलि धेरै छ.
The distance of path B from this point, of course, if you want to be at the summit from the base, the distance seems to be more than the distance of the path A. So, more distance.
Less distance.
Less distance. Comparatively, right? Can you see this?
Okay, path A less distance.
Right. I'll just finish it. Path B. The distance of path B is more than the distance of path B. That is evident. That is evident. That is true. It appears to be true.
B
What else is different?
A र B मा चाहिँ A को A चाहिँ अलि धेरै slopey छ.
Path A seems to be more slopey.
B.
Path B is more slopey.
A
What is slopey? You don't know the meaning of the word slopey? What is slopey? That's the thing that I want to explain. What does it mean to be slopey? Mathematically. Or maybe if there was only one thing, the difference between the path A and path B, the difference was only, let's say, path B had B, we had to cover more distance. Path A, if you take path A, you had to cover less distance. Anybody would choose path B, path A. Everybody would choose path A. But because it's shorter, who would want to take longer distance? But there is something different between path A and path B.
In path A,
Of course, the angle is
we have
different.
to move little towards the x-axis तलको बेसले थोरै गएर चाहिँ धेरै माथि जानुपर्छ.
Now, the thing is, let's construct some steps. We make some steps on path A and we construct some steps on path B. How do we make steps? Let's make some steps. We make equal steps. We make equal number of steps. We make 5 steps. If we had to cross both, if we had to reach the summit from path A and path B in equal steps, that is to say 5 steps. Path B, 1 step. 2 step, 3 step, 4 step, 5 step. These are all equal steps. That's how it appears. Similarly, path A, taking path A also, you want to reach the same summit in 5 steps. So you have to divide this in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, and then you have Am I doing it correctly or what? Am I doing it correctly? I should be doing it correctly. Look at the difference between these 2 steps. Look at the difference between these 2 steps. What's the problem? What's the thing? What's the difference? The steps here, they are, you have to go higher, right? You have to cross all the way this much and you travel only this much in this direction. You have to go high up before you cover this much distance in this direction. This direction, the distance in this direction is increasing in a much more rapid manner than the distance in this direction. Do you see this?
Yes.
What is happening? The distance that you cover vertically, right? The rate at which you are covering the vertical distance is higher than the rate at which you are covering the vertical distance in this direction, right? So here you go up and then you cover all this distance this way. And then here also you go high up, but you cover this much distance horizontally. Here high up, horizontal distance is too much. Right? But here, if you take same step, you see you are taking the same step. But what is happening? Horizontal distance is very less.
Yes.
You cover more. Why? Vertical distance, and you cover small or less horizontal distance. So, if you take one step here, if you take one step here, and if you take one step here, how much vertical distance you are covering? Let's say 1 meter. How much?
1 meter.
1 meter. This also 1 meter. 1 meter. Every step you are covering 1 meter. 1 meter. Okay? Here also
1 meter.
you are covering, because 1 meter horizontal distance is same, right? A vertical distance is same.
Yes.
Vertical distance is same. Because you have to cover, what's the height of this mountain?
5 meter.
5 meter. 5 meter, right? That's it, right? Isn't it?
Yes.
So, you cover 1 meter and then 1 meter and then 1 meter. Similarly, here also, you cover first 1 meter and then next step 1 meter. 1 meter. 1 meter. 1 meter. 1 meter. In every step, you are covering the same vertical distance. That is how much?
1 meter.
1 meter.
But what is different? The
Horizontal.
horizontal distance is completely different. Here you are covering horizontal step, let's say 1 meter, if you, let's say if you say 1 meter. Here you are covering how much?
0.0.
Maybe less than that. Here again. So the difference between these 2 steps, these 2 paths, is that when you walk along path B, even though you are covering the same vertical distance, you are covering a lot of horizontal distance. But here, what is happening? Here, when you cover the same amount of vertical distance, you are not covering as much horizontal distance as here. That means when you walk, you have to walk like this. You cannot walk like this, right? We have the ladders here in the ashram, the ladder there next to the cow shed. Why is it difficult to go all the way up to the second floor there? Because the ladder is like almost vertical, right?
Yes.
You don't have even a space to keep your foot, and it becomes extremely hard. So, in a common language, we say that this is more slopey. This is more slopey, right? Isn't it? This is more
Slopey.
So slopey, in mathematics, how do we translate this? Slope or slopey or whatever it is. How do we translate this?
If the y
We have to translate that in the form of some kind of distance. How do we translate that? What's the difference between these two distances? Huh?
there's a horizontal line comes.
Right. When you cover certain distance upward, let's say when you cover 1 meter upward, you are covering 0.5 meter gain sideways. Or upward means vertical,
Sideways means horizontal.
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 Similarly, this path here, what is happening? 1 meter vertical, right, upward. 1 meter.
Horizontal.
So whenever we talk about slope, we talk about only one distance or two distances. Because an individual is covering vertical distance also, horizontal distance also. Isn't it? In both cases.
Yes.
In both cases, a person is going vertically upward and horizontally this way. Up